Yeah? A little welcome speech from Zenius, CEO of People Per Hour.
Hi everyone, thanks for coming. Yannick, when you said speech, you didn't tell me I was going to be put on a podium, on a stage, man. Welcome everyone. I hope everyone's having a good time. Thanks for being part of the PPA journey, one way or the other. I think everyone here is probably has interacted with PPA one way or another, apart from maybe my mother. So, who is here, by the way. I'll say a few things. Firstly, a lot of people ask you 10 years, what are you still doing? Why are you still doing this? And it's good to think back and answer that for yourself when you reach certain milestones like a 10-year. And for me, it really comes down to three key things. One is, I love the fact that we have a social purpose. I mean, it's great to have a business that works. If it also has a social purpose, it's even better. And by that I mean we don't just operate to make money, although that is also a goal, but we are changing people's lives in ways that they share with us every week, if not every day, and that really gets us out of bed every morning. We allow them to pursue their dream of becoming financially independent, of working, being their own boss, of working their own times, and basically making money working remotely from sometimes annoyingly beautiful, sunny places that we get photos sent to us thinking, okay, well, we're stuck in a rainy office in London, but thanks for sharing. And equally, for customers who work with freelancers, it's very empowering to know that you're a click away from essentially a workforce that's as big as the NHS, as big as Walmart, which are some of the largest employers in the world. So you have access to talent, you have access to you have access to it fast, and you can build your entire business from the ground up until you can afford to hire big teams internally and so on and so forth. So hearing those stories, and I'm sure there's a few of them here, is very inspiring to us, so keep them coming, and we hope to have lots more in the future. The second reason is, and I hope this, I say this without any repercussions in the office with people getting big heads and can't enter the room, but I enjoy working with the team that I work with. Finally, 10 years later, we can afford to have people that we couldn't on day one, although Tom is here, who was with us from day one 9 years ago, and stuck around for 9 years, which is amazing. And it's just refreshing because we're still getting out of bed, motivated, and doing stuff that we think is making our tiny little dent in the universe, but also having fun and collaborating and just dreaming up, good ideas that we hopefully make our experience better. And the third reason is because I genuinely believe that, and I think we share this belief internally, that we're still at the beginning of a very big transformation. That this is really day one, if not day zero, of what's happening in the world of work, let's say. As in, 1 in 3 people now are freelancers, probably higher concentration in this room, and companies are slowly adopting this new way of working, which with all the benefits that it brings. And once they do, they never look back. But there's still so much to be done. There's so much innovation that the space needs, and that's what obsesses us with every day. And not just on People Per Hour, but other products that we're launching, like TalentDesk.io, which is our enterprise product, SuperTasker, which we launched 2 years ago, and hopefully many, many more to come. Yannick told me that he's going to throw a bottle at me if I pass 10 minutes, but I think I'm doing okay. Okay, I just want to close with some stories that I want to share from the 10-year journey. And I sat down and thought about, there's too many to share, obviously, in 2 minutes for sure. But I'll pick one of the, let's say, the funniest, one of the sort of the scariest, and maybe the one I'm most proud of. I'll keep it short. But the scariest, I think, was when, this is almost 8 years ago, when our landlord at the time realized that we were going to not be able to pay rent, and we were planning to abandon the lease and leave the deposit, etc. Anyway, he kind of sniffed at that and sent bailiffs a couple of times. And in the end, we managed to leave in the nick of time, like literally overnight. We hired a man in a van to literally come over, pack everything, stuff the staircase outside, and we got very lucky because bailiffs did arrive actually in the morning. And thankfully they couldn't get in, and by the time they had got in, we basically had evacuated the whole thing, went to a new building, bar, 1 or 2 chairs. So actually bailiff comes in and sees me dancing in the room by myself, and I'm like, okay, that was too close. Because at the time we had servers and data, and actually if they had taken that to repossess so that we pay the rent, they would have probably destroyed the business to a point of no recovery. That was the scariest one, I think. The funniest moment potentially was when this lady, bless her, turned up at work, and I have to say this story, I'm sorry, but this is, she sees this online and sort of sues me, I'm not going to say your names. But this lady that we were interviewing for an office manager passes all the tests, flying colors, does the best marks, etc. Comes in the office, is an efficiency machine in the morning, like I'm thinking, how is she working so fast? Then goes to lunch, and I actually said to the team, can you take her to lunch? It's her first day. And she said, no, I want to go out at lunch by myself. Anyway, so she comes back from lunch, and she was completely off her face drunk. I'm not talking about she had a glass of wine. She was like, barely could walk. And, you know, but a bunch of geeks like us who were upstairs, I remember in that office, and we just didn't notice. Everyone had headphones on and plugged on and carried on. And I didn't actually, and the only way, and I'm sorry, I can't say this without using some profanity in the story, but the way we found out is because when she was, one of the jobs we gave her is to change addresses of vendors that we had because the vendors were in a previous company. And I hear her talking to a vendor saying, trying to say people per hour, and the guy wouldn't understand, and she said, okay, P as in penis, E as in ecstasy, and I'm like, and then I turn and I think, okay, we have a problem. And in fact, it was actually quite difficult to get out of the office. I mean, I won't go into the rest of the story, it gets a bit uglier, but I think that was the funny part. The other part was the ugly part. And then the one story that I'm the most proud of, if I think that stands out, is, so in 2009, maybe my PR team will give me shit for saying this publicly, but who cares? In 2009, one of the biggest breaks we've had, if not the biggest to date, actually, is when BBC called and wanted to do an interview. And I was like, I didn't believe that, right? I mean, we were barely in any kind of press, so I was like, yeah, really? And so they asked me a few questions, and I obviously bluff it, and I say, you know, we're 30 people, we're big, etc. Because I thought, if I say we're 2 people, they're going to put the phone down, and it's too important. And it was for the news. Some of you may have seen the clip, it's online. But and then I didn't think they were serious, and then they turned out to be serious. And then they basically pursued and said, you know, called to come in. And I'm like, shit, we have a problem. We're 2 people, 3. And I said we're 30. So we had to come up with a plan. And literally what we did is we went downstairs and we paid people £5 to come and pretend that they are working for us. And then they said to us, people looked at me weird in the street. When you say to them, I mean, funny things happen. When you go to someone in the street that you don't know and say, I'll pay you £5 to sit in a chair doing nothing for about a few hours. They think you're some sort of freak of nature. They think that you're a serial murderer or something. Anyway, so it turned out we were able to find a few, and then we filled the room, and the BBC did actually come in with the whole crew and the stuff. And they come in and they're like, oh wow, you guys are big. I'm like, yeah, look at us. We had 2 employees in the office, but as they say, you take it till you make it. Anyway, thanks for coming. I'll shut up now. Yannick, I think I'm on time. So thanks, enjoy drinks. Thank you.